And here we go on another day of Beat the Book here on 1580 The Fanatic. I'm Phil in the control room today, and I'm joined by our sports betting expert, Dylan Cohen, recording live from the Harmon Solar Studios in Scottsdale. On today's show, we're talking Super Bowl. The big game is this Sunday, and it's time to go over what the bets to make are going to be. We're also going to hear from Alex Kane. He is the CEO of Sport Trade. He'll be joining the show in segment 2 to give us the latest with the app. And then finally, in segment 3, we're going big game hunting. Dylan will break down the long shot parlay of the day and let you know why you need to tail it. And you, the listener, you're on the text line 888-368-1580. How did your bets do yesterday, Dylan? Did you win? Was there one leg that tanked your bet? Let us know. We'd love to hear about it. But before we get started here, Dylan, who powers the show?
That would be Sport Trade. And just like Phil mentioned, make sure you stick around for segment 2. That is when Sport Trade CEO Alex Kane will be back on the show to give us the latest about the app. We'll get to hear some insights from the head of an actual sports book about the bets that they're seeing come through on the Super Bowl, Waste Management Open. So a lot of good insights there. Really excited to have that conversation. And of course, if you have not already downloaded Sport Trade, you need to download the app. Use promo code 1580 to take advantage of their 10% cashback promotion on all the wagers that you place in your first week. And in addition to Sport Trade, we are also powered by Edge Boost. And if you have not heard the Edge Boost commercial, Edge Boost is the only bank account out there that is designed specifically for your sportsbook, your daily fantasy site, and your casino transactions. When you deposit money from your Edge Boost account into a sportsbook, daily fantasy site, or a casino, you will earn cash back on the money that you deposit. You can earn up to 0.5% cash back. This is not too good to be true. This bank account was created in partnership with Visa. You will receive a digital Visa debit card to move your funds in and out of the account. These accounts are also FDIC insured. There is a ton of information available on the Edge Boost website. So visit edgeboost.bet today. That is where you go to create an account and learn more. And use promo code 1580 when you sign up for Edge Boost. That will start you off on a higher tier, so you can earn even more cash back than you would if you didn't use the promo code 1580. Now, with all that being said, here on Beat the Book, there is also a Beat the Book website that it's in your best interest to check out. Monday through Friday, there are 10 bets getting posted onto that site daily, in addition to the long shot parlay of the day, which I will break down for us later on in the show in segment 3, so stick around for that. But going back to the 10 bets that are posted on there, these could be money lines, spreads, overs, unders, player props. If you visit the Beat the Book website, you'll see right up at the top, there's the top 2 picks of the day, followed by the 8 other bets to consider. And if you happen to follow these picks yesterday, we had another good day. We had 7 wins, 3 losses. And so far this week, we are winning at a 65% rate. So this is a great time to start to check out these Beat the Book picks if you're not doing so already. You can just search in your browser Beat the Book Fanatic or Beat the Book Dylan Cohen. Either one of those searches will take you to the right place. Likewise, you can also follow me on Instagram. The handle is at Beat the Book Fanatic, all spelled out. And if you hit the link in the bio, that'll take you right to the Beat the Book page. So you can check out what the 10 bets are for tonight, as in addition to the long shot parlay of the day. Now, I have to admit, I did make a bit of a mistake. And part of that is just because I've been so caught up in the NBA betting and with how successful that's been over the last week. When I put together today's post, it didn't really dawn on me at the time that this is Friday. This is my time to actually post the Super Bowl related bets because we're not on the air Saturday or Sunday. And I just went full speed NBA, didn't even realize it. And then like an hour or 2 after I posted it, I was like, oh crap. I don't have a single Super Bowl bet up there. So here's what we're going to do. Later on this weekend, and this is where it's going to benefit you to follow the Beat the Book Instagram account, I will post my recommended Super Bowl bets. You will get them much closer to kickoff. But while we're here on the show right now, this is our last chance to be able to talk about the big game. This is going to be our stage for just having a conversation, what bets we like. If you've already made your Super Bowl bets, you want to shout those out, shoot us a text 888-368-1580. But at this point, Phil and I, we're going to have a little chat about the Super Bowl, and we're going to go through some of the bets that we like here. And just starting off with the game in general, taking a look at where the line stands right now. The Chiefs are still sitting as a 1.5-point favorite. Just looking at the line here on FanDuel, they are currently priced at minus 116 on the money line. And one of the things that we've talked about on this show throughout the week, and this is what I had said was ultimately going to happen going back to last week, is, where this line opened up, it wasn't too far from being a pick 'em, and it was pointing in the Chiefs' favor. The Eagles have always been the underdog, but very slowly throughout the week, what's been happening is money has been flowing in on the Eagles, particularly when they were paying over even money on the money line. Right now, the Eagles, they're minus 102 on the money line on FanDuel. And even though the spread is technically minus 1.5, it's actually leaning in favor of plus 1.5 for Philadelphia. This is the closest that we've seen essentially to a pick 'em line ever since this market has opened up. And if you're someone that is in the Kansas City Chiefs corner, and that's been the team that I've backed going all the way back to the beginning of the season, way back in September, I did a NFL futures post that was on the Beat the Book site, tried to take a stab at a number of the futures markets. Did pretty well on the divisional winners, but outside of that, really was just a mess for the most part. But look, there's going to be injuries that come about. No one had Christian McCaffrey like missing the entire season, on their bingo card. I don't feel so bad about that. But, my Super Bowl pick going all the way back then, it was for the Kansas City Chiefs. And here we are on the weekend of the big game. They are in that matchup going against the Philadelphia Eagles, of course. And, this is just going to be something that I won't be able to put the most analytical argument behind it. Like, NBA is really my expertise. I've been extremely upfront about this. I love watching football. I never played it personally, but it's something I followed for a while now, and I have bet pretty frequently on it. But in my opinion, and this is just a general rule of thumb, if Patrick Mahomes is in the Super Bowl with the Kansas City Chiefs, as long as Tom Brady isn't on the other side of the field, you do not bet against the Kansas City Chiefs. And that's the way it's played out in reality. But going back to the last two Super Bowls, without really knowing in depth a whole lot about the opponents, I just look at it and there's no way I'm going against Patrick Mahomes. That's just how I felt. That's how I felt at the beginning of the season. That's how I feel today. So I'm definitely looking to get money down on the Chiefs. I'm probably going to pull the trigger. I was hoping that the line would actually flip, that there would be some temporary window where, enough money came in on the Eagles to where the Chiefs flipped, and now you can get even money or better on them on the money line. I'm thinking what we're seeing right now on the line movement, it's probably as good as it's going to get because the Eagles aren't paying over plus 100 now on the money line. But with that being said, Phil, I know you're someone that you actually played football, right?
I did. I was a lineman.
So you can bring a lot more actual experience, into your rationale for, who you think is going to win the Super Bowl. What are your thoughts on this matchup?
Certainly. I think, especially if you're Philadelphia Eagles better, I think that I think you should take the line now. If you're if you're a Kansas City Chiefs better, and you're somebody who likes that number, yes, 1.5 is pretty much tempting, but keep in mind that the past 3 Super Bowls that the Chiefs have been exactly 3 points. So I do think every point and point and a half matters in this matchup. I would say that look for, because the Chiefs have shown in not only just their past Super Bowls, but also in their playoff games in these high leverage moments that they really do enjoy the pressure and amounting and ramping it up to where you can bet this live. That is always just a good way to remember who you feel is going to win, where you have a determined edge and where you think that this will go, that the Chiefs probably will be down live in the game. If that's true, and then you're down heading into the fourth quarter, down 4, and you need Patrick Mahomes to have a touchdown in the Super Bowl for a game-winning, Super Bowl-winning drive, I trust that. And that's a time that you can get the Chiefs money line all at all the juice that you want. You can get the Chiefs to win by 2.5 by that point, and then get a little extra juice. So this is the one game where I think the public money is so there prior to the game happening that I look for live betting, especially in these games rather than regular season games, because of how many eyeballs are just watching and going to be betting this leading up to the game rather than live. I think that the real edge here is live betting, and especially if it's on the sides market, I would go with the Chiefs. Maybe because it's not out of the realm of possibility if the Chiefs, do a 12-minute chew the clock out, run the ball down the Philadelphia Eagles' throat, and then get a touchdown in the beginning. Then, if you feel so inclined, you can get Eagles plus money at that point when nothing has really changed about the game all that much, other than the Chiefs scored the opening touchdown that took 12 minutes, and you'll be able to get line value there. That would be my initial thought there, Dylan.
Are you sure you haven't talked to Alex Kane before?
That's hilarious.
So, and the only reason I say that, we're going to hear some more from Alex coming up in the next segment. But you do raise a very good point in the potential for profiting on a live bet. And, something that we seem to know with a pretty good certainty is that this really shouldn't be a one-sided blowout on either side. We're very much expecting a back and forth, whether it's a shootout, maybe it's a little bit heavier defensive than we're giving it credit for, and maybe it's not necessarily high volume scoring, but it's still close. But there is value in keeping an eye on the line movement during the game, and this is a point that we'll hear from Alex and how you can leverage Sport Trade to take advantage of even better odds when you attempt to do that. Which, by the way, also just want to shout this out: if you're someone that's looking to straight bet the Super Bowl, yes, FanDuel has the Chiefs at -116. But take your money over to Sport Trade. They're offering -108. Ooh. And this is one of the things that does make Sport Trade really stand out. And I want to leave, more room for Alex to speak towards it. But they're generally going to one up the odds that you're going to find just about everywhere else. So again, when you're just looking to count on the outcome of the game, who's going to win, just a simple straight bet like that, Sport Trade is the place where you want to get that wager down. But getting back to the actual game itself, just so we're clear, it sounds like we're both on the same page. We both think the Chiefs are going to win.
I am saving my official pick for our Sunday live show on the Weekend Warriors.
Yeah, I don't want to step on their toes.
But betting wise, I definitely think finding the Chiefs in a trailing script, definitely take those points live. Definitely take those points.
Absolutely. Now, in addition to the major markets, there's tons of other bets in there to make. You can do things as ridiculous as the coin flip, which I'm going to stay away from that kind of a thing. But let's get into just some actual player prop bets. And actually, what I want to start here too, because this isn't exactly a player prop, but the actual over under on the game, where that's sitting right now. Currently on FanDuel, it's at 48.5. And back on Wednesday, that was Keon Rose's last day on the show. His parting analysis on this game was he really liked the under, just feeling like, the defenses were going to really show up in this one, and the, trend of high scoring games was going to end. I look at this line, and I'm actually on the kind of opposite side of that. I really like the over in this game. And the biggest reason why is because the teams that are playing, the path that they have had to take all the way up until this game, they've had to play in the elements. They've had to play outdoors. They've had to just weather essentially a storm. There literally was, an Arctic blast storm going on in the East Coast. And I mean, even without that, like, it's always freezing that time of year, whether you're playing games outdoor in Philly or you're playing outdoor at Arrowhead in Kansas City. And now everyone gets to go into a nice, comfy, domed stadium in, Louisiana. And I think you're just going to see a bit of a boost to the offenses. That seems to be kind of the trend in the playoffs overall. Even in the earlier rounds of the playoffs, like, the offenses have just been humming. And it's not that the defenses are bad. Maybe it could be a fatigue, just, energy thing with where you are, after all the miles that you've put on your legs throughout the season. But, coming into this one, and especially going off of the last time that these guys played in the Super Bowl, we did get the Chiefs and the Eagles 2 years ago, final score there, 38-35. And I look at this line right now at 48.5, and I just can't help but feel like we're going to see another score that's in the 60s, 30-something. That's truthfully the way that I would look to bet it. So if you want to just take the over at -110 at 48.5, I think you're going to see a result that's going to very comfortably go over there. But if you were, looking to get a little bit of extra juice out of your betting on that, you start to take a look at the alternate over-unders on this game. And by the time you hit over under 55.5, that's where you're seeing over 2-1 payout on the total there. So, I mean, if you want to push this all the way to over under 59.5, now you're getting over 3-1. And these kinds of legs can come in handy if you're looking to build, maybe a 2 or a 3 leg parlay, really try and kind of juice up your payout, get it to, maybe 10, 15-1, somewhere in that range. You're going to have to leverage a couple of outcomes that are going to be in the neighborhood of plus 250, plus 300, somewhere around there. So that could be something you could look to, try and leverage there. But getting into some actual player props, I did say this before. I still like it now, even though the pricing on it has gotten worse because people have been just betting this throughout the week. But looking at touchdown scores and who's going to score a touchdown, how many touchdowns are they going to score? Look no further than Saquon Barkley. The man is just playing football at a ridiculous level right now. He has scored 5 touchdowns in his last 2 games. He had 3 touchdowns in that NFC Championship round. He is someone that Philadelphia is leaning on very heavily for offensive production. And you take a look at the market for the touchdown scorer props. He is the most likely player, according to odds makers, to score a touchdown in the Super Bowl. He's priced at minus 190. But if you go down to the 2+ touchdowns market, he's the most likely person, according to odds makers, for that as well. This particular bet opened a lot closer to 3-1. It's currently paying plus 260. And if this happens to get much closer to 2-1, that's probably where I start to back off of it. If it's still over 2.5-1, there's still some value in getting that payout there on that prop. But just know, I mean, it's generally a good sign when, this thing opens at, plus 290, plus 300, and now throughout the week it's going down. That means that your peers around you that are also betting, they're putting their money on it. And this isn't, a kind of perfect way to think about it, but the best way that I could illustrate why that's important. Phil, did you ever watch Who Wants to Be a Millionaire back in the day?
Yes.
So remember when they would have the option to ask, all the people, watching in the recording studio, you could ask the audience. I mean, just about any time someone would go to ask the audience, the popular opinion almost always was right. Now, that doesn't always happen within betting markets, but when it's the biggest game on the biggest stage that's attracting the most amount of betting volume, that's what the Super Bowl is. It is the grandest event as far as betting goes. I would trust the majority opinion in how much money seems to have been flowing on Saquon Barkley to get 2 or more touchdowns. Now, Phil, you and I were actually talking about this before the show. You were bringing up a pretty good point about a different player in this game to potentially get 2 or more touchdowns. Who did you like for that one?
Yeah, I don't know if ours are in direct conflict. There's certainly an avenue where it both exists, but I am far more on Jalen Hurts to get 2 anytime touchdowns. Of course, he does need to rush those in order for that to cash. Don't get that confused. I know some people do, especially when we get more casual viewers with the Super Bowl. I think that there's a bunch of different pathways for this to cash in. If we even look at the Super Bowl 2 years ago, which of course is very different than the teams that are going to be on the field this time around. But if we look at that as a template, we saw Jalen Hurts hit this both in an actual rushing touchdown, and then the other one would be the tush push. And I think that the fact that the tush push exists allows for this to happen at a much higher rate than Saquon's, as we've seen throughout the regular season. We've seen that Saquon is the number 1 running back to be stopped within the red zone, and then that allows the Philadelphia Eagles to do what they do and allow Jalen Hurts to get a cheap anytime touchdown. And I think that we can attack that value and get better odds on Jalen Hurts to get 2 touchdowns than Saquon Barkley, where I think that Saquon Barkley, it's certainly within the realm of possibility to go bonkers on rushing yards. But the touchdowns is actually where I hesitate to find value there, because while I think that 1 is probably certain, and the fact that you're getting negative odds on that is still astounding. Greatness to Saquon is just respect throughout. But Jalen Hurts to get 2, I can see this happening in 2 tush pushes. I can see this happening with just 1 tush push. I could even see it just happening just on a bootleg that just happens, and then another one that's just random. I can see this happening in so many more ways that Jalen Hurts gets this, and you're getting I think that even an elevator of betting Jalen Hurts 1 touchdown, 2 touchdowns, even have some fun. Throw Jalen Hurts for 3 touchdowns, just a little morsel on 3 touchdowns. I think allows you to be invested throughout, especially if you like the over and the points on this.
I will say, because you do make some very good points about it, the biggest thing that does make me actually really like that prop bet is the difference in how it's priced. So Saquon Barkley, like I mentioned, plus 260 for 2 or more touchdowns. Jalen Hurts, you're getting a little bit more than double on those odds there. It's plus 550 right now. And just like you said, I mean, they have a specific set play that is designed to get this person a touchdown. And it's known to be extremely effective. And even if it is potentially risking some kind of an injury to Jalen when they do it, they'll be a lot more open to running that play in the final game of the season, where no matter what, after this game, it's all done. So unfortunately, we had some other bets lined up there. You're going to have to follow me on Instagram to check out what those are going to be for the big game. Again, the Instagram account to follow is at Beat the Book Fanatic, all spelled out. I will be sure to post more Super Bowl bets prior to the big game on Sunday. We got to get to a break here, but when we come back, we're going to check in with Alex Kane, the CEO of Sport Trade. He's going to give us the latest with the app, give us some insights from an actual sports book about some of the big events happening this weekend in sports. So stick around. You're listening to Beat the Book here on 1580 The Fanatic.
1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Live and local.
Make extra money daily from your sports betting? Dylan Cohen from Beat the Book here. You know, I'm always about finding ways to take sports betting to the next level, and that's exactly why I'm pumped to tell you about Edge Boost, the financial platform that pays you cash back to wager. Edge Boost is an online bank account that pays you for every deposit. With the Edge Boost Visa debit card, you're getting up to 0.5% cash back on all of your sportsbook, daily fantasy site, and casino transactions. That's free money back in your pocket just for doing what you're already doing. It's a no-brainer. Plus, your Edge Boost debit card starts with a $250,000 daily limit, and it will never be declined for gambling activity. They've got built-in tools to help you stay responsible, and there's absolutely no hidden fees or minimum required balances. So stop leaving money on the table. Visit edgeboost.bet to learn more and sign up today. That's edgeboost.bet. Once again, edgeboost.bet.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets. And see why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Arizona. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated in the best hearing aids of 2024 by USA Today, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, just $189.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 500,000 happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
There's something you can do today that will impact all your tomorrows. Open an AZ 529 Education Savings Plan. Contribute just $50 a month, and you'll have nearly $20,000 by your child's high school graduation, or as a great start towards your own education savings. Your money grows tax-free and can be used for college, vocational school, or workforce training. Learn more at az529.gov. Do it today for all your tomorrows.
This message is sponsored by the Office of the Arizona State Treasurer.
Your best plan to retire might be right under your roof. This is Rob Canyer, and for over 20 years, I've helped people discover how they can utilize a portion of their equity in their home as a coordinated strategy in retirement planning, thus creating additional monthly cash flow, paying less taxes, and making their retirement assets last longer. This is a safe and proven retirement strategy for qualified homeowners age 62 and older. All you have to do is reverse your thinking. Call me, Reverse Rob, to learn more at 602-REVERSE. That's 602-738-3773.
Never again will you have to say, I missed that segment. I'm such a dinkus.
He's so lame.
Never miss an important segment, favorite host, or show again. Check out our podcast and listen whenever and wherever you want.
It's the reason Al Gore invented the internet.
Follow us on Facebook or Twitter or at 1580thefanatic.com.
Welcome back. You're listening to Beat the Book here on 1580 The Fanatic. I am your host, Dylan Cohen, here in the Harman Solar Studios, recording in Scottsdale. You, the listener, you are on the text line, 888-368-1580. And now joining us is Alex Kane. He is the CEO of Sporttrade. He's here to give us the latest with the app and share some insights about how the betting is going on some of the big games going on this weekend. Alex, how's it going, man? How are you?
What's up, guys? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you. And it's so great to have you back on today, Alex. It's just a really awesome time in the sports betting world. There's so much going on right now. Today, the Waste Management Open is happening just miles from us up here in Scottsdale. There's obviously the big game this weekend. Just tons of opportunity to make a profit. And Sporttrade, in my opinion, is going to come in particularly handy if you're someone that's looking to straight bet the winner of the Waste Management Open or even the Super Bowl. So, Alex, for anyone that's listening that may be new to the program or just hasn't even been able to experience Sporttrade yet, would you mind telling us exactly what is Sporttrade, how did it get started, and what are some of the things that make Sporttrade stand out compared to the other sports betting platforms here in Arizona?
Totally. Sporttrade it's a prediction market. It's an exchange. It's a marketplace. And why that matters and why it's so different is let's take a great example, the Waste Management Open, right? You mentioned just a few miles down the road there. Golf is such a great sport to trade as opposed to purely bet. So not only does Sporttrade have fantastic prices, right? If you were to look on FanDuel versus Sporttrade, you're probably getting a 10 to 30% odds boost on everything on Sporttrade. But the more fun thing is that you can actually trade the event. Like you can bet the flow of the tournament. So right now, I'll give you a great example. Scottie Scheffler's offered at 17% chance to win. That's about 4.5 to 1. 17% chance to win. The idea on Sporttrade is you can buy in at that price, 17% chance. And if he makes a birdie, he goes from 17 to maybe 19% chance to win. I'm looking at the scoreboard here. He's nowhere, from what I can see, he's 5 under. He's got 8 players in front of him. He's 7 under. He's got 6 players in front of him. The leader, Thomas Detry, is at 12 under. So the idea on Sporttrade is, yeah, sure, you could just bet them at 4.5 to 1 on Sporttrade. You might get 4 to 1 on FanDuel or DraftKings. But the more fun thing to do is, why don't we buy Scottie Scheffler at 17%? And, tomorrow he goes out and he shoots another 5 under round like he did today. He goes from 7 under to 12 under. The leader takes a step back and Scheffler shoots from 17 to 50% chance. And you could sell. So it's a buy-sell, two-sided marketplace. And this really simple mechanic is the price is the probability. So you don't have to think to yourself like, okay, Thomas Detry is plus 496. Like, is that a good bet or is that a bad bet? On Sporttrade, he's 16% chance to win. In fact, that might not be a bad bet, given that he has a 2-stroke lead, through 2 rounds. And so that's the idea. You place your bets on Sporttrade. The bets are expressed in probability. And just like you get into a bet based on the probability, you can cash out of a bet based on that probability. So you buy Detry at 16%. He's looking pretty good through the first 9 holes tomorrow, and he goes from 16 to 30%. You can sell some or all of your bet at that new win probability. So totally different way of thinking about sports betting. You're betting the flow of the game. You're betting the flow of the tournament. But once you start using it'll be tough to go back to a traditional sports book.
And, the last time you were on the show, going back to last week, Alex, we were talking about some of the different promotions that Sporttrade offers. And, I always shout out the 10% cash back promotion that's available to anyone that signs up and sets up a brand new account. But you had mentioned another one. There's a deposit match, I believe. Is that still in effect?
Yep, the deposit match, I think, has been going live depending on the customer over the course of this week. And so you get 10% cash back from every single bet you place. That's new customers, up to $300 in your first week, paid in cash. The second bonus is, yes, I can see this here. So push cash is the second sort of bonus. And you get a 25% deposit match up to $200 deposit. So $50 match, 1x playthrough. And then third and finally, the Super Bowl is another great chance to do this. When you do buy low and then sell high, so the Chiefs are down to 51%, as low as we've seen them this week, 51%. You buy the Chiefs at 51, you sell them at 61, you make $10. When you do that, you've bought low, you've sold high, we'll double that profit in another $10, and we'll do that up to 5 times. So that's another $50. So if you stack all these together, you get $300 sign-up bonus, $50 deposit match, and $50 to buy low, sell high. That's over $400 of bonuses for new players.
So basically, there's just never been a better time to give Sporttrade a try and set up an account. I mean, at least compared to back when I got started on there. I mean, the 10% cash back promotion's been around, but it's been just awesome to see you guys be able to kind of pepper in these new little sweeteners just to make it that much better to make the choice, sign up for the account, get everything going. And going back to the Waste Management Open, I was really curious just to talk with you about what kind of action you guys are seeing on the back end, and being an entity that is taking sports bets, and the fact that you could speak to any trends that might be out there or patterns. Is there like a specific golfer at this point that is attracting a lot of the handle? I would have to imagine there was probably some flurry of bets that got in on Scotty Scheffler after he didn't have necessarily the greatest first day.
Yep. Scotty Scheffler has been a favorite in terms of where the market is trying to get in. I think that we're going to continue to see that. At the end of each day's play, that prices will come back in and be really tight. But you can also, we've seen players get in mid-round, mid-hole, mid-shot for these players. So I think generally the market just always tends to buy Scheffler, and I think at 17% chance, 5 shots back, it's not a bad bet, or really not a bad trade, because your downside is only 17.5. Your upside is obviously the 82.5, because if he wins, it settles at 100%. And so he's taken a lot of action. I think we've seen a lot of action on Justin Thomas. At the start of each week, you can also bet no on every golfer. I mentioned it's a two-sided marketplace. So we tend to have these sharp players come in and bet $10, $20, $30, $40, $50,000 on the no on some of these guys, but the price at which they're betting is the equivalent of, let's say, minus 5,000, minus 4,000. So 96%, 97%, 98% odds. But if you do that for enough golfers for enough weeks, it can pay off. Obviously, it's a bit riskier than just taking a flyer on the winner. And obviously, once out of every 10 weeks you win. This is, you need to really win 9 out of 10 weeks to even break even.
I completely understand the rationale behind that. And, that's something that does require having a certain amount of capital. And I mean, if you have it, that's absolutely a worthy strategy to employ. But there's just something about that scenario that it makes it feel even more stressful to me. I would hate to bet, no on someone to win the Waste Management Open. Lo and behold, they're, coming into the final day in like the top 5. And now it's like this weird reverse sweat where I'm hoping some guy doesn't win. It just feels a little different to me, but to each their own with that. The thing with Sporttrade that I really love about all of this, Alex, and you could speak to this a lot better than me, is just that, the everyday average user of this app, they actually have a way to get some transparency and see what all the action coming in is looking like. You don't necessarily need to be connected directly to you to get insights on which way the money is moving. Can you talk more about this capability that's on Sporttrade?
Yep, we have the tape. Tape it's like the ticker tape. It was is a concept borrowed from stock trading. It's every single bet placed on the app in real time. So if I scroll back here 14 minutes ago, I see someone bet $1,060 on the Chiefs at 51%. I keep scrolling back. I see another big bet on the Chiefs. This is a $4,000 bet on the Chiefs to win at that 51%. I keep scrolling back. I can see more big action on the Chiefs. I mean, at this price, this is kind of what tends to happen in a marketplace, is the market gets too far tilted one way. Maybe it's toward the Eagles now, and everyone buys the Chiefs. But earlier in the week, the Eagles got as low as 46%. Everyone was on the Eagles. If you do have an account and you do like, here's another bet that was just a couple of hours ago, $2,600 on the Chiefs money line. If you have an account, you can swipe right on any of those trades and it will open the order window and you can copy that trade. And if you do copy that trade and say, okay, $20 on the Chiefs, I like it, place that bet. When you go back to the tape, you'll see $20 placed on the Chiefs at 51%. So the whole idea is Sporttrade's a living, breathing marketplace. So if you tune into the app on the Super Bowl Sunday at halftime, you're going to see a ton of action. And it's actually insightful to see where does the market think things are undervalued. If everyone's buying the Chiefs, maybe that's a buying opportunity. If everyone's buying the Chiefs and the price of the Chiefs are going up and thus the price of the Eagles is going down, maybe that's a buy the dip opportunity. Wait for the market to overbuy it and get in on the other side. So it's how we operate, right? It's about transparency. It's about letting players know where money is going and then giving you the freedom to transact based on that information.
And, when you actually, download Sporttrade, you set up an account, like one of the first things that happens is you actually receive a text message directly from Sporttrade. And I was just hoping you could speak a little bit more about this, because I think it's the one thing that never really gets thought about whenever anyone's looking to sign up with a sports book and, try and make some wagers and make some money, is that if you have a question, if something goes wrong, if you've withdrawn money and it's not showing up in your account for, 5, 6, 7 days, and you're trying to figure out what's going on, like these are all very easy things to address with Sporttrade compared to the user experience with any other betting platform in Arizona.
Yeah, that's the idea. Like coming not from sports betting, I wanted to build an experience, and I think we can always improve. And then that's the cool thing about Sporttrade, is that the way it's going to look next month is not the way it's going to look this month. I just generally think like probabilities are so much easier. Like just 12 minutes ago, someone put $320 on the Suns at 76%. Like that's just so much easier to me as a sports bettor than minus 322. Right. And those two things are actually the same exact thing, but it's just so much easier to say, okay, well, 76%, like I can basically judge whether I think this is a good bet or a bad bet based on whether I think the Suns have above or below a 76% chance to win. Versus like when I see like someone bet the Chiefs at minus 106, I'm like, wait, is that good? Like, it's just like, it's another learned thing you have to do to teach yourself American odds. I think when I look at this, like here's a bet that just came in a minute ago. Someone put $1,200 on the Pistons to beat the Sixers at 38%. Well, okay, maybe I click on this. What's happened to the price? Price hasn't moved. What does that tell me? Does that mean maybe there's still an opportunity to buy the Pistons? It's just, we felt like it was way more intuitive to build a sports betting experience. And once you place that bet, once you put your $100 or whatever it is on the Pistons at 38%, as that win probability changes, so does the value of your bet. So they go from 38% to 50% chance to win. Now you sell your bet. So that was the whole idea. It's a totally different way of thinking about sports betting. But once you sort of adopt it, you'll never think about sports betting in the same way.
Well, there you have it. I can personally attest to this in terms of straight betting the Super Bowl or even waste management. Sporttrade is the best place to get those wagers down with. They've got the best odds. They've got the best customer service. It is a very unique experience, and anyone that is a consistent sports bettor, I implore you to try it. You will not be disappointed. Alex, thank you so much for your time. It's always a pleasure having you on, man, and looking forward to next time.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Take care. So that was Alex Kane. Again, he is the CEO of Sporttrade. If you have not downloaded Sporttrade already, you are going to want to have it ready to go for the Super Bowl. As Alex and I were just having that conversation, the price literally got better on the Chiefs money line. No one has the price that Sporttrade has right now. It went down to minus 106, which is 51% implied probability. But if you're the kind of person that's looking to get 3, 4, 5 figures down on just who's going to win the game, the best odds are with Sporttrade. That's why you need to check them out. Now, we need to get to a break here, but when we come back, we're going to get into that long shot parlay of the day. I'm going to break it down, explain to you why the 4 legs that I've picked can hit tonight. So stick around. You're listening to Beat the Book here on 1580 The Fanatic.
1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Live and local.
Make extra money daily from your sports betting? Dylan Cohen from Beat the Book here. You know, I'm always about finding ways to take sports betting to the next level, and that's exactly why I'm pumped to tell you about Edge Boost, the financial platform that pays you cash back to wager. Edge Boost is an online bank account that pays you for every deposit. With the Edge Boost Visa debit card, you're getting up to 0.5% cash back on all of your sportsbook, daily fantasy site, and casino transactions. That's free money back in your pocket just for doing what you're already doing. It's a no-brainer. Plus, your Edge Boost debit card starts with a $250,000 daily limit, and it will never be declined for gambling activity. They've got built-in tools to help you stay responsible, and there's absolutely no hidden fees or minimum required balances. So stop leaving money on the table. Visit edgeboost.bet to learn more and sign up today. That's edgeboost.bet. Once again, edgeboost.bet.
Hi, guys. Jeffrey O'Brien here. Have you ever gone to harmonsolar.com? Well, you really need to, because everything you ever wanted to know about how solar power can save you big on your monthly electric bill is right there. It's online. Through your phone or through your computer, you can learn about tax credits, the equipment they use, look at how they do things for businesses as well as homeowners, see testimonials from happy customers, and I hear they got a pretty good podcast, too. Check it out. Go to harmonsolar.com. That's harmonsolar.com.
Head coach Bobby Hurley and Sun Devil men's basketball are ready to join the Big 12 Conference. This season, the Sun Devils host conference foes Baylor, Iowa State, Arizona, TCU, and Houston, all at Desert Financial Arena.
And another steal ahead to Miller, and Miller reverses it up and in, and he's fouled. Holy moly.
Join the action and get your Sun Devil men's basketball tickets today by calling 480-727-0000 or go online to sundeviltickets.com.
The Renaissance Festival is back, weekends now through March 30th. Be ready to have a great time. Amazing adventure awaits the entire family. New shows, shopping, jousting nights, non-stop feasting. Leave your cares behind. Happiness reigns at the Renaissance Festival. It's fun and affordable. You'll love the Renaissance. Visit now through March 30th. Discount tickets available at Bashers' and Food City or online at arizona.redfestinfo.com. Presented by Delta Airlines, Bashers', Food City, Pepsi, Budweiser, and Guinness. Huzzah!
Let's say you've got questions. You're looking into solar, but you don't know where to start. Well, Harmon Solar has the answers. Hi, I'm Jeffrey O'Brien, and listen, there's a couple of ways you can go here. One, visit harmonsolar.com, browse around, because right across the page, they got links to all sorts of great information, like frequently asked questions, equipment, tax credits, even testimonials. Or just give them a call, 800-281-3189. Ask them directly. They'd love to hear from you. That's 800-281-3189, or just go to harmonsolar.com.
Now, you can be the guy that eventually gets bits and pieces of the latest news, or you can get the whole story when it breaks. The NFL is always in season here.
That's how we do it.
Follow us on Facebook or Twitter, or at 1580thefanatic.com.
Welcome back. This is Beat the Book here on 1580 The Fanatic. And it is time now for the long shot parlay of the day. Before we break that down, just want to get to the text line, clear some things up. Phil, what do we have on the text line?
Yes.
The Moist one actually has a very good prop question here. He said, guys, what is a prop? He said a prop I like is, will there be a 2-point conversion attempt? Yes is plus money right now. For the Super Bowl, of course, we're talking about. Obviously, in NBA, that wouldn't, there will be a 2-point attempt.
Yeah.
For the Super Bowl, do you think that there will be?
I just went back to the last round of like championship games, and there weren't many attempts at them. But again, it's kind of hard to look at those and just point to what's going to happen in the Super Bowl. There's so many different variables going on. I don't think it's a horrible market, but just like how Moist One pointed out, you need to get that at plus money. So like I just pulled it up right now on FanDuel, and for there to be a 2-point conversion, it's not even paying 1-to-1. It's minus 104. So if I'm not getting a 1-to-1 payout on it, I don't like it. But if you can get it for over a 1-to-1 payout, that doesn't feel like a very bad kind of fun prop bet to make, especially because it's open to it happening on either team. It's just, will there be a 2-point conversion? That could happen in a number of different ways. So if you can get it over even money, I think that that's not a bad one to place a wager on.
I would agree. And the other one that we have here is Sports Girly asks, right now there's a promotion out there to get Kansas City to win with Mahomes going for 225 plus passing yards. There's a profit boost there that's associated there. Do you think that that's a steal right there, Dylan?
I know what she's referencing there. That's on FanDuel. They've got like a special 50% profit boost. I would caution you about playing these big promotions like this. It's not that these things that they're suggesting aren't going to happen. They're totally possible, but you have to understand that there is like a deeper level of calculation that goes into these promos that get promoted in the way that this is. I mean, it's like the front page thing. They've got a banner on it all the way around. They're probably sending out emails about this thing. And when they're really screaming from the mountaintops, like, bet on this promo, it should give you a little bit internally of like a red flag of, they're dangling this carrot because they see some analytics that's pointing to, if Kansas City wins, it's likely Mahomes is going under that mark. Or if Philly wins, it's likely that Barkley's going under that rushing mark. That's generally the thought process, the incentive for the book to then turn around and make an entire marketing promotion out of this 50% profit boost. So I would just tell you to urge caution when doing those. Me personally, I'm not looking to play any of that stuff. I stay away from it. But there are plenty of times where FanDuel does promote a bet, like this, that they must see some analytics telling them it's a good chance that they're ultimately going to come out on top. And then the bettors end up winning it. So it's not impossible. I mean, look, especially if this ends up going to overtime, and if it's Kansas City and overtime that ultimately wins, I have to imagine Mahomes is getting over 225 passing yards. If you're going to twist my arm and make me pick something, I would do the Kansas City side of it. But altogether, just come into these kinds of promos with a level of caution. You need to be aware that there's an incentive for FanDuel to turn around and market this bet the way that they have.
Yeah, usually if there's some sort of maximum or minimum wager associated with it, that's where I start to gain a little more solid ground, where it's like, hey, you can win $5. Okay, I can see them trying to give away $5. It's whenever they are going for these big time promos, or it's like, well, these books are not looking to give away that much money, especially for something that's so public and so publicly enticing. Patrick Mahomes historically in Super Bowls has a bad half. Either it's usually the first half, he doesn't start out well at all. It's the second half that usually turns it on, and usually the team comes to win. 225 yards is actually a lot for Patrick Mahomes, especially this season. Look at his yardage. He hasn't surpassed that much this season. So I would say those two results don't seem correlated that well.
So that's that. Are we all good on the text line? Perfect. Okay. So here is today's long shot parlay of the day. This one is 4 legs. It pays 109-1 odds. And that's what it was paying when I put it together on Fanatic Sportsbook earlier this morning. Now that we're later into the day, FanDuel probably has all of their alternate points props out. So if you have the time, shop this with FanDuel. It's possible that they're paying even more, but here's how it breaks down. We're counting on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to score 40 or more points tonight, Giannis Antetokounmpo to score 35 or more points tonight, Victor Wembanyama to score 30 or more points tonight, and Bam Adebayo to score 23 or more points tonight. I'm going to break these down. Starting off with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. SGA is entering his matchup against the Toronto Raptors at home tonight, averaging almost 38 points per game so far this month. He is coming off a 50-point performance against the Suns back on Wednesday, and he has scored 40 or more points twice over his last 4 games. The Raptors are going to be without R.J. Barrett and starting center Jakob Poeltl, and their newly acquired all-star Brandon Ingram will not be suiting up for this one either. The Thunder are expecting Chet Holmgren to finally make his return to the court tonight, but he will be on a strict minutes restriction, leaving Shea to be the focal point on offense. Look for SGA to continue his offensive dominance against a bottom 6 defense in the NBA. Giannis for 35 or more points. Giannis and the Bucks take on the very, very shorthanded Atlanta Hawks tonight after Atlanta was involved in a number of trades over the last couple of days. Giannis is averaging just under 32 points per game on the season, and he has scored 35 or more points 4 times over his last 5 games. Giannis has not played since last Sunday, where he scored 30 points against the Grizzlies, so he's going to be coming into this matchup pretty fresh. On top of Atlanta being a bottom 3 defense in the league, the timing of this matchup is a big reason to count on Giannis to score tonight. With Atlanta waiting for all these new players that they traded for to join their team, they're going to be forced to go even deeper into their bench unit to have just enough players to even compete. So look for undrafted guys like Dominic Barlow and Keaton Wallace to be featured heavily in this game for Atlanta. Each of those guys got double-digit minutes in the Hawks' last game. Yes, Atlanta is that thin right now. It is the perfect storm for Giannis to come to town and wreak havoc on the court. So look for Giannis to score in this game. Victor Wembanyama for 30 or more points. I will admit this is probably going to be the most difficult leg, but this is another instance of capitalizing on a team that is playing with a shorthanded roster due to all of the recent trades. The Spurs are taking on the Charlotte Hornets today, who are down to only 1 center on their active roster after they traded Mark Williams to the Lakers. They also sent out Cody Martin and Vasily Micic to the Suns in exchange for Yusuf Nurkic, but he's not going to be suiting up for this game. That's 3 guys that were essentially starting for this Hornets team that are not on the team anymore, and their replacements are not yet available. Josh Green, he's also been ruled out of this game, and he's arguably Charlotte's best remaining defensive player. Charlotte will have a small front court today. They have no choice. Their only center left is Moussa Diabate, who is 6'9", and he's being thrusted into a starting role, even though he is very much a backup center. Wemby is going to eat him alive in the paint and from the perimeter. Last one, Bam Adebayo for 23 or more points. Bam is coming into this matchup against the Nets tonight, averaging almost 24 points per game so far in February. He has scored 23 or more points 3 times over his last 4 games. In the 2 games against the Brooklyn Nets this season, Bam scored 23 points and 17 points. So this is a number that he's been able to hit before against Brooklyn. The Heat were also involved in a few trades as well, and the players that they have traded for have not yet joined the team. This will be the final game for the Miami Heat before they integrate all their new additions into their lineup. So look for Bam to continue the high level of offensive play against a young and unproven Nets front court. And if you didn't pick up on this already, there is a little bit of a theme going on with these bets. Right now, all the teams in the NBA, they've gone through trades. They're waiting for players to come in. Many of these lineups are going to look very different tonight. Teams are just going to play guys that don't normally play, and the opposing teams are going to benefit from that. So that's all I got, Phil. Good luck with your bets this weekend, everyone.
All right. Thank you so much, Dylan. And thank you, everybody listening here on the Fanatic 1580. This has been Beat the Book, powered by Sport Trade. We appreciate you. Make sure to win all your Super Bowl bets. Always makes the nachos taste a little bit better. We'll see you next time.